Hello, my name is Mark. I'm a concept artist and illustrator working mainly for the entertainment industry, and this is the sixth and final part of my character design tutorial. So here in this sixth part, I'm gonna go into more into textures and adding the final details and final um lights and atmosphere to the picture. So what I'm start doing here is I just wanna create a thread plate for the ground. So and in this case, sometimes I'm using photo textures because it's just much faster. But for a thread plate, it's really easy to create one. So I'm just showing you how you can do that easily. So as you see, I just created a bunch of lines and rotated it with 45 degrees, and I duplicate the layer. So now I have this yeah, and bit of distortion, and now I have this kind of thread plate thing, thread plate pattern. I just quickly changed it to inverse, and I've put it onto an overlay layer and distorting it onto the ground. A bit pushing back the opacity of the layer, and with the texture brush, I'm erasing it back, and basically that's it. So it was real quick. It was about 5 minutes to create this thread plate instead of using a photo texture, and it looks exactly the same. So what I'm doing now is, uh, as you see, I'm working just in the background now. So and I really missed some kind of more graphical element from the back wall. So I created a multiply layer, and I'm just adding a couple of stripes onto the back wall. So now I'm erasing it back to fit to the previous markings, what I put on the back wall. So just erasing it back, and also erasing it back with a texture brush. It's just to match it more to the background, and because these markings on the wall should be worn as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I also want to add some kind of random text, so probably the area code or the code of whatever this alleyway or this corridor. I'm not really happy with the font, so I just want to pick a really basic font because otherwise it's gonna disturb the character and bring the focus away from the character. So yeah, I'm just distorting it to match the perspective and erasing it back to match to the dirt and rust marks and watermarks on the wall. So yeah, that's it. I'm just adding another layer of shadows here. So front and yeah, I'm still missing a bit of more grunge textures. So I'm just putting these down on an overlay layer again, just to add a, just to have a bit more detail, a bit more grunge on the background wall. So yeah, I'm going back and adding more shadows to those cables and to the pipes, basically adding small details and more definition to the different parts. I'm working on a new layer again, so it's just a normal layer, and I'm picking all the colors from what I've painted previously. I don't really want to over detail the background, but still I want it to be realistic, and I wanted to have all those small details, but just cells. It could be a realistic place. Yeah, what I'm doing here now, it's quite an effective thing. So I just flatten down the whole background, and I'm applying a filter, what's called unsharp mask. It's really useful, especially on rusted metal things. But as you see, I pushed it back, so that final layer is in about, I don't know, 40% or something, and I'm flattening it back again and adjusting the colors because it was just way too saturated. So yeah, you see the character pops up much more from the background this way. But I really did like all those orangey, warm, browny rust colors. So I just picked this desaturated layer and erased it back with the texture brush. So that's what happened before. And another layer again, just putting down a bit more details, but with the character on the picture. So the character, of course, is on a different layer. So what I'm running here is I'm imagining this is probably in this whole base is somewhere in the middle of a desert. So I'm adding this that dust or sand, or probably the wind blown into this corridor. Not too much, but just to add a bit of story or something. And yeah, I quite like this kind of brush, and just adding more like scratches on the wall onto the wall, and it also could make the image more painterly. So yeah, just going back and forth in the different areas. All the way around. I quite like using this one because it helps me to add more details, uh, but without going into detailing. So I'm just so I have kind of a mood or kind of a feeling in my mind what I'm after, and I'm trying to control this brush that way, but I'm not going in any small detailing now because it's just finishing up process. You see how it looked before and how it looks now. So yeah, and it took me only about half an hour to achieve this result from the previous one. So yeah, and now I'm jumping to the character and finishing that up. So I adjusted a bit the feed and also the values to pop it up a bit more, and I'm 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 going through with the texture brushes of the whole character. It's exactly the same process what I've done with the background. So adding more small details, but without going into detailing. So yeah, and I just started to think about the story again. So this character probably